Welcome to FPB's Meet the Candidates. This Cable 10 series allows you, the viewer, also the voter, to get a closer look at our local candidates here and hear their view on the issues that are important to us. This is all leading up to the general election, which is on Tuesday, November 6th. Today's guest is Katricia Waldridge, and she is running for Frankfort City Commission. So I'd like to welcome you, Katricia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're glad you came in to stop by and see us and tell us why you're here and why you're running for City Commission. So have at it.
Okay. Well, I'm running for City Commission. I feel that it's time when you complain about so many things in a city. It's time to stand up and do something about it. So I'm offering myself as a solution. It's time for transparency in our city, and it's time for our residents to feel like that there's a City Commission that has their best interests at heart and is truly their voice. And I want to be that voice.
Great. So tell some of our viewers who may not be familiar with how government works, what is the role of a city commissioner?
So the city commissioner here in Frankfort, as it's different county to county and state to state, but here in Frankfort, there's 4 commissioners that work on a board with one other member, which is the mayor. And so you have 5 votes for things of that nature. And you help run the city, whether it's from budgeting to help with staffing, making strategic decisions for the city. As we see, some things have not been the way that we want them. So it's about making the correct decisions in a timely manner. And it's anything from economic development to pushing our city forward and growing and bringing our community together as one.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of responsibility.
It is indeed.
So what experience and characteristics do you think lends to being able to carry out these responsibilities?
Well, first and foremost, a resident here for 21 years. So I have pretty good knowledge of where we've been for 21 years and where we haven't gone for 21 years. So I feel also working at Kentucky State University on many different levels and getting my education there. I have that as my background as well. PTO president for 3 years at Bondurant, where I've raised the most money that any president has there. Also vice president with President Shane Bennett at Collins Lane. Okay. So I feel that connects me with the education system. It also helps us in being resourceful to get money to help our students, our teachers, and our staff there at all the schools. I'm one-on-one. I love being involved. I'm part of the Democratic Women's Club here in Frankfort. I'm also a part of 4 Together Frankfort. So a couple of new clubs that have really come about over the last year I've been trying to be involved in. I attend some of the Rotary meetings, and attend some of the Quantium meetings as well, just to see what their issues are and what's going on. So I feel I am a people person. I am very loyal into my position. I have great integrity and transparent. So I'm one that will tell you what I feel and what the truth is, no matter if that's what you really want to hear. And I think that's what our community really wants. And so I feel that's my huge strength that I have going forward is let's move forward, let's communicate.
Yeah. Well, inevitably, there will be at least one new member on the City Commission. What do you think the advantages are to having new blood on the commission?
Well, new leadership, new ideas, new vision. And with the demographics of those running right now, we have a wide range of demographics as well. So when you get some of the younger ones in, they're just excited. We are excited to get in and do new things and try new things. Some of the older demographics sometimes, they're a little more laid back and maybe not willing to take some of the chances that we are. And with that, I feel it's a great demographic. I think it's time for some new blood. I think it's something new for Frankfort. And I'm excited. I think we have a lot of great people running. And I think they complement each other very well in whatever that 4 will be. I look at myself as I'm not running for a position myself. I'm actually running on a mission for Frankfort, and that's to do something positive with that. So I want to link with other people that are running for City Commission that will be the best 4 that will run with a mission and not position that's self-serving.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the issues and some projects here in town for a little bit. Okay. Have you seen we've got this whole redevelopment thing going on downtown.
Exciting.
So City Vision has proposed a plan. Have you seen the plan?
Yes.
And is that something that you support?
I think right now the plan is moving in the right direction. I think we just need to stay focused on what that is so we don't get off a timeline and continue to add years. The longer there's an empty hole there, the less money we have coming in for Frankfort and the less things that we have to do in Frankfort. I think City Visions has done a great job. I appreciate them reaching out to the community and getting our thoughts and ideas on things. The community they're not going to be completely satisfied with everything. You can't please everyone. But I think if they hold the city at the high point, I really truly feel that they'll hit exactly what we need. I think some of the structures that they have, I think they're amazing. Will they look exactly like, you know, that in the picture? No, probably not, but they're going to be close enough. And I really like some of the ideas that are coming forward. I like the fact that we have meeting space added there on the river side with a few living areas as well. I like that they put some parking area with those living areas, though they didn't tackle the parking area downtown yet. We're going to hope that's in there, but at least they did give spaces for those living areas. I really do like the boating house that they had, so we can really draw people to our river. So I think it's an exciting step, and I think Frankfort's really excited about it just to see what it could possibly look like. Yeah. And so I think we're moving in the right direction.
Well, that's good, and I agree. All of those things sound great.
Yeah.
And they cost money.
Yes.
So what are your ideas for some funding mechanisms?
Well, funding mechanisms, number one, we need to go over our budget to make sure that we're using our budget correctly and what we do have right now as a city. We also have a county that's also here too that we can also use to that, and we need to learn how to work together as one, even though we're two different entities. I also think that we need to take advantage of money right here in our town. You know, we have RJ Corman that's running right through our town, which is huge, and they're servicing through our area, and we should reach out to them and just see who's interested in Frankfort. So once City Visions gets this plan out and more people hear it, I think it's going to draw money to Frankfort. Those that have ideas, those that have money, they can bring ideas to the table at the same time funding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another development project that's going to be kicking off soon is the 2nd Street Corridor project.
Yes,
We were lucky enough to get a Tiger grant from the federal government.
That's awesome.
And with the responsibility of kind of redeveloping the 2nd Street Corridor.
Yes.
So what do you think that will look like, and how do you envision the City Commission playing a role in that? And what ideas do you have to get that implemented?
Well, first of all, when you're looking at a Tiger grant, it just doesn't happen overnight. So it is planting a few seeds and, you know, nurturing them as we go along. So, you know, that may take a while for our groundbreaking for that. So we just have to get people to be patient, first of all, when we're going. But I do think that that's going to be a huge corridor that's going to bring that side of the river and connect it to the other side of downtown.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we look, it is our downtown, but sometimes I feel like they're just pushed off to the side and they're just there. And that area has gone down. The looks of it is not inviting. If they want to go to our city hall, it's not inviting. So I look forward to that being a huge focal point and bringing that side of the river back into downtown and be together as one. So it's going to be a complete circle in downtown where we can walk, bike, and things of that nature.
Okay.
But I'm excited about it. I didn't like the fact that it stopped right at Capitol Avenue because that sort of leaves Rebecca Ruth and those areas over there. If we're doing a huge corridor, you know, it ends there, and then people are going to see that. And I really think, you know, with the VFW and Rebecca Ruth, I really think that, you know, we need to try to get another grant to adhere to that, to the project as well, so it doesn't just turn something different. It's going to be completely different.
So, yeah. So this year, the City Commission is preparing to vote to increase tax rates, as has the fiscal court just did that, and so did both of our school districts here in town. So it's something that's happening. I'm assuming it's because, you know, they're having to increase their contributions for the pension. Plus, our community just has a lot of needs that, you know, that cost money, as we have discussed.
Very true.
So what is it that local governments can do, our local government can do, to help generate more revenue so that we can minimize future tax increases?
Well, I agree with you. I really think that pension has a lot to do with this. That was a huge amount of money that is expected of us for the next, I believe, 4 or 5 years. It's going to hurt our budget. I think that when people read over contracts, when people read over what's going on with money and things of that nature, we really need to read. It's fundamental. And I think a lot of times we skim over things, and this is what has put us in this predicament of pensions. And I think if we read through things and actually take in consideration of the future, we would make better choices. I feel a lot of times in our government, whether it's state, whether it's city, that a lot of times we think about the now. We don't think about tomorrow, and we don't think about our grandchildren, and we don't think about our great-grandchildren. We make things that maybe make sense now. And in that, I think we really need to think about future focus when we make decisions today. You know, signing a 100-year contract is absurd. For anyone to sign a 100-year contract, because we're not going to be around in 100 years, and so you're making decisions for your great-great-grandchildren that puts them in a bind. And I think that we need to start reading through things. We need to start being collective with all that are involved, and not just symbol circles of making decisions for us. But sometimes we don't like the increases, but sometimes they are inevitable. But we do have a pot of money also that continues to occur interest and continues to grow here in Frankfort, where we can do other things. Do I think we should start using some of it? I do, I absolutely do, to help some of the situation. Do I think we need to go under at least 10,000? No, I think a disaster would happen as soon as we went under 10 million, I rather. But I think we do need to look at that and some of the issues that we have in Frankfort, and maybe helping cushion that issue with us as far as the finances.
Okay. I want to take just a minute to jump back, talking about the downtown redevelopment.
Yeah.
Let's look into the future. Say that the redevelopment is very successful, it's completed, and it's generating some revenue for the city.
Okay.
How do you propose that we spend that revenue? Should we lower taxes and keep services the same here in our community, or should we improve our services and keep taxes at a certain rate, or something else altogether?
Well, I think that's sort of catchy. It depends on when that revenue is coming in and where our taxes are, because right now they are continuing to raise because we are in need. If we have revenue coming in and that cushions everything, I think that the residents should be given a break in taxes. I think that that should be first and foremost. You know, with all the expenses that we do have, I know they have an issue, of course, with Frankfort Plant Board and those raises going up. We have to know that in daily life, things are going to rise. But we also have to keep our consumers in mind and know that they are living on a certain salary, and we continue to raise certain things, that it's time. At that moment, it would be a time to say, where are we?
Okay.
And if we can give residents a break, I'd want to give our residents a break. And definitely in taxes. And spending the tax revenue, of course I'd want to improve it. The better that we are, the better our services are, the more that we're going to grow, the more that we're going to be able to stay ahead of everyone else. We are the capital city. And right now, the way Frankfort stands, it doesn't seem like that.
Well, you mentioned the Frankfort Plant Board. I will mention that we're excited because starting next year, we'll be getting our power from a new power source. It's going to save us a lot of money. So that's another thing. We don't foresee any increases in our electric rates for quite some time because of that savings. So then again, same thing, trying to figure out how we're going to use that savings.
Exactly.
Are we going to reinvest it back into our infrastructure? Are we going to give our customers a break? And it, it'll probably be a mix of the two.
And that would be a good decision on both, given situations now. But I think that's phenomenal.
That's how it works. In the primary, candidates talked about that, commented on the stagnant population growth here, here in Frankfort, and that Frankfort needs a change in order to bring growth. What do you envision that change to be?
Oh, wow. In order for us to grow, first of all, we really have to do something that's exciting, that's bringing in a certain age group. Because right now, if we continue going down the path that we are, and we have to be honest with it right now, most of our population is 40, 45 and up. And so, we hate to think about death, but it is part of life. Each day we're getting closer to that day. And so we continue on that. I mean, we're going to need more, places to bury people rather than buildings to bring more people in. So we really have to change this age group. And I don't mean overpopulate, definitely Frankfort. We want to grow together. But I think one thing is, I really do think that we need to do something to bring in younger generation
Well, that was
that
my
are
next
wanting
question.
to have kids.
What can we do to bring in young people?
With that, you know, one thing that Mr. Barry is doing down on East Main is a brewery, you know, bringing in new ideas, new food for people to try. That's what we want to do. When the younger population, we leave Frankfort, we go eat. We eat at different places. Right now, we're just a cookie cutter. You know, we have the McDonald's, we have the Bojangles, you know, enough with the cookie cutter. We're not a cookie cutter city. We're not a cookie cutter, you know, state.
Yeah.
Let's do something different.
Yeah.
And it's okay, and that's what it is. We need different. We need options, and we want them at our fingertips. Yeah. And we should be able to stay in our city right now to enjoy things of that nature. We have one movie theater that's not up to rate. We want to go and watch an IMAX. We've got to leave our city for that.
I would love that.
I know, right? And so to bring that generation, we have to do that. We're a moving group. We're very huge on Wi-Fi. We don't have that downtown, do we?
Yeah.
No. So it's things like that need to bring in that generation. Then we're going to want to settle. People are going to want to come back home after they leave for college to put back into their community what they feel that they've gotten.
Okay.
And that's what it is.
Okay. I want to switch gears a little bit here and talk about the plant board for just a second.
Okay.
While I know that it would take a change in legislation, do you think the county judge and fiscal court should be able to nominate and appoint some members to the plant board?
Well, in the issue that we've had surrounding this, I think that with that being said, the county uses Frankfort Plant Board as well. So I think they should have a say. I think in the situation that has surrounded the Frankfort Plant Board's board, it's been just so negative. It's been a waste of time. And I think that if they can have a say on it and we can read thoroughly, go through applications thoroughly and process them, we'll get the right people on the board. But for people on the commission to, per se, you know, pick out a couple of people that we want to drag through, I guess, the mud and things of that nature, to me, we just need to make sure the process is, I guess, fine-tooth with a comb.
Okay.
Because we could have avoided wasted money, and we could have avoided our time that we've put into this.
So if there was the opportunity to pursue letting the county judge and fiscal court have some kind of say, again, it will take a legislative change.
It would.
That's something you would support.
I think so.
Okay.
And I believe in our leaders.
Yeah.
I believe in those that hold those positions, and we elect them. We have them there for a reason.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's time that we work. I know we have city and county government. It's time, even though we have two separate governments, it's time that we work as one community.
I think everybody has the same goals.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, exactly.
So do you think industry should have a seat on the Frankfort Plant Board? Representative?
You know, I always say that when you have a board, you should always have as many people as you can from different areas to be represented on a board, especially when it's something that's so strategic as this in the Frankfort community. So it would just have to be on where we were at. I don't see a problem with them being on the board. But again, we have to get out of this silos of wanting certain people on boards and certain people not, and actually doing what's best for that board in the direction we want to go.
Sure. How do you think the City Commission can incentivize and attract new businesses and industry to our community?
Oh, wow. Well, this is huge. You know, I hear through other conversations, it's helped with our coding and our planning and things of that nature. It seems people want to come to this town, but they have drugged through here. They're sent here, they're sent there from all these different offices, and it takes too long to get anything done when they're moving. And so they throw their hands up and say, you know, I'll just go to Georgetown, I'll go to Versailles, it's easier. And I really think the City Commission really needs to comb through that and have a plan to say, hey, this is our package. So if they go to the internet or our website, they can click on it and say, this is your step 1, 2, 3, 4 of coming in, bringing new business and being able to get settled. And this is who you speak to on all of that. And this is about how many days that process should take completely, unless, you know, you're going to have hiccups in some things. But I feel like there's hiccups all the way through this. And speaking to a couple of people, you know, trying to bring in breweries and things, I've heard those stories. And we need to make that process easier. However, we need to make sure it does meet our guidelines and our regulations of the city.
Okay. Our local economic development group tells us that there's a problem with, they find a major obstacle to bringing in new businesses is the lack of skilled workforce that we have here. Is there anything that the City Commission can do to help address this issue?
Well, when they say lack of skilled force, we have state government here that has $20,000 jobs, and other than that, when you look at our next biggest area, it's our public school system and things of that nature. Do I think the City Commission could do something? Yeah, I really do. Yeah. But I also think that the issue right here in Frankfort is, Governor Bevin taking away our career centers. And now there's nowhere for anyone in Frankfort to go and help get on computers or any kind of assistance in trying to better themselves. And they go to like Adecco's and things of that nature. And those particular businesses don't call people back in ample time or give them a job for 2 months and then they're out again. They're losing home because they had gotten an apartment and things of that nature. So can the City Commission do something? Yeah. Why can't we have our own career center that the governor can't take away from us? And why can't we move forward with that and give people opportunities to be able to get career ready and be ready for other jobs? But do I think that that's the underlying issue on why they're coming here? Absolutely not. Because as a business, you can bring your own people in from other places. They technically don't have to be here. Of course, we would like them to live here. But I don't think that's the underlying issue of why people are not bringing businesses in.
Okay. We've heard that another issue of local businesses is that even when they do find skilled workers, oftentimes they can't pass a drug test. So what can the City Commission do for that? Do you have ideas of how that issue could be addressed?
Well, I've gone to a couple of meetings with the health department on opiates and things of that nature, trying to do more research on that. Our problem is huge here in Frankfort, as it is everywhere. It's a growing issue. One thing that I brought up to the health department and many other community groups that are also working on that is, are you guys communicating together? It seems that, when issues come, one person starts one group, one person starts the other, and we're all trying to do the same thing in different locations. And one thing that I did bring to the group is, are we all communicating together? Can we communicate together and come to one to try to fight that? So with those, the health department and those groups coming together as one, I think also our City Commission should be there. I know I've sat through several commission meetings. Different people have given their oversight of their different departments and and things of that nature. One thing that I found that I hear quite often when people are giving their overviews of their departments is they have meetings and the city commissioners don't show up. And as a city commissioner, when you accept that job, you really need to get to other jobs. You need to get to other meetings. You need to know what's going on. Just the city commission alone in a work meeting is not enough. And so it disappointed me to know that people are voting people in and they're just taking it as a position. They're not taking another step to go to any of the budget meetings of other, groups, planning, economic development. Why are you not going to the economic development and working with them to make that easy? And so when you sit at the commission table, you can make better solutions and better decisions.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So do you think the City Commission, it's a public government entity, is adequately transparent?
Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. And that's my main reason for running.
Okay, well, what steps would you take to make it more transparent if you were elected?
Well, steps that I would take, first of all, is being able, the community has maybe a 10-minute before every commission to ask questions and voice whatever it is they want to voice.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I see that some of the commission can't speak on a hall, but some of the commissioners, they just blow it off. You never hear updates from it. When you ask people out in the community, what did you get from it? There's never any updates. It's just floored. There's a lot of closed business that happens behind closed doors as well. And that's a given. Legal issues and things of that nature, of course, they have to be closed. But sometimes I think it's just the uncomfortableness because they don't want to ask questions. And I think it's time to be open. And that's what I'm doing on my trip, down this road to November 6th is I'm open. I'm a people person. I want to hear problems. I want to hear the ideas. And being their voice, they should know what's going on at all times, whether that's vocal, whether that's minutes from a meeting, whether that's being online for them to get to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any decisions or steps the City Commission has taken that you would have done differently had you been on the City Commission?
Let's see, differently. Well, I definitely, the Frankfort Plant Board issue, I think I would have handled a little differently with Ms. Rosen and Baldwin. I really think that we spent too much time on that, going in the wrong direction, when the issue at hand was Frankfort Plant Board and utilities and things. And that's what we want to focus on. How can we work with Frankfort Plant Board better? And how can Frankfort Plant Board service our residents and better? And I feel like arguing over that, and we were going nowhere and spending our money that could go in so many different areas right now of Frankfort, I would have wanted to stop the brake on that.
Okay.
And I think that could have been solved just by reading.
Okay. Well, as a newcomer, what are your goals for your term if elected? If you have major goals, things you want to accomplish, what are they?
Number one goal, transparency, communication, of course. That's a huge one. That's being able to speak with my residents at all times and let them know that I'm an open door and I am their voice. I'm not getting on here just for me or a self-centered issue. It's for them and to be their voice, for their voice to be heard again. So that's the number one thing. Number two thing is working with our youth. I want our youth to be connected. I want them to be engaged in our city because they are our future. And right now they don't have that. And number two, working really hard to try to bring in other businesses and whatever we can do to bring in other businesses to get our economy thriving and back on the right foot. And I guess the last thing would be visibility. You know, our residents want to see our commissioners out at events, out at different meetings, and they want them to be visible. And visibility brings transparent communication, openness as far as you know, decisions are made, and that's what they want. They want a partnership. They want to feel like it's a partnership and it's a collaboration. I know the other day Jacqueline, who's running for lieutenant governor, she had said, you know, you're a government of the people, so you should hear the voice. Their voice should be heard, and that's what I feel. That I feel the same exact way. If I'm running for you to elect me, I want to be your city commissioner, and I want to be your voice.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell people that directly. I want you to look into that camera and tell them why you're the best candidate for a city commission and why they should vote for you on November 6th.
All right, great. Well, again, my name is Katricia Waldridge, and I'm running for your city commission. I want to be your voice. It's time that we reclaim our city. It's time for us to move forward as one. It's time for us to get our youth involved. It's time for you to see your city commission and be able to speak with your city commissioner. And I feel that I am ready, prepared, and ready to move Frankfort forward with you on this city commission. So I ask for your vote on November 6th. Vote for Katricia Waldridge. It's a vote for you. It's a vote in the right direction.
And how can people, if they want to find out more about you, is there somewhere they can go? Facebook?
Sure. I have a Facebook page. It's Katricia for Frankfort. On Facebook, I also have a website at www.katricia, K-A-T-R-I-S-H-A, for F-O-R, Frankfort, FRANKFORT.com.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming by. I know our viewers appreciate hearing directly from the candidates about these issues.
Yes, thank you for having us. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Again, it's Katricia Waldridge. She's running for City Commission. I'll tell the voters, I'm going to remind you to go vote on Tuesday, November 6th. And when you're done voting, go home, tune into Channel 10, check out our live election coverage direct from the county clerk's office. It's election season, so that means it's time to get informed. Then go voice your choice. That's it for Meet the Candidates. We'll see you next time.